Today is not exactly our typical day for a The Hunter Classic video, but quite honestly, the entire week has been far from typical, and to fit with the theme here, we are participating in a couple of competitions on White Rime Ridge that we never participate in. The first one requires the crossbow, basically the heaviest bison shot between 55 and 65 meters. The second one, though, is our lightest snowshoe hare shot with the crossbow pistol, which I don't think I've ever attempted to use this thing for a competition, so I think this could be fun. Well, that's just about fitting. A 195 to 215, I think light fur type moose? On a day where we're not in a moose competition. Now, one of the reasons that we're not is that I didn't even look to see what they were. We got a moose competition trophy from Hamish in kind of our first ever episode of this series, to call it that, in trying to get a competition medal for every single species. And while that one maybe would have a chance, it would entirely depend on what the competition would be anyway. And I'm not too sure about him still running. We may have shot a bit far back. It must not have been a great shot because he is still going. That looked way lower and further back than I thought it was. The good news is, though, room for a second shot, and that time it brings him down, so at least we're not going to have to waste any more time tracking him. And we could tell as he was running around there. He is a light fur type and not a piebald. That would have been really cool. That's always something that I'm at least hopeful of every time I see the light fur type, but naturally the light is just an uncommon, piebald is a rare, and most of the time it is just going to be this. But a chance anyway that that's our best light fur type? I don't think we've had one over 200 yet. 195 minimum gives him pretty good odds of doing so. First shot was intestine, second shot double lung and liver, and even still did not quite crack 200, 198.9 for him. And because of that, just a quick trophy shot, and hopefully we can get on to the main part of the hunt. So finally, after a slight detour there, we get our first look at a herd of bison, and as best I can tell, it is all females, except for one down here by itself that is a male. So one thing that I actually like about this competition is that it kind of allows us to do something different from the normal bison hunting, which, in order to kind of display, I want to show what bison hunting typically is, especially when using a bow. And essentially it's this: you run up close to them, wait for them to charge, and what happens when they charge is they stop. Then you shoot them, and it's really not that exciting or entertaining, but because we have to make basically a 60-meter shot, it's going to be a lot more interesting, I think, when we go for ones at least that are potentially competition trophy-earning bison. This one, by the way, would have been right about third place, but I think there's still a day and 5 hours left, so we're going to want upwards of 800 kilos anyway. So with that out of the way, it's now time to address what makes this competition actually difficult, because for a map that's so wide open, and a species that really doesn't flee, you would think a distance requirement wouldn't really matter. You should just be able to run to whatever distance you need, take the shot, and go and track it. And especially when any animal shot with any bow in the Hunter Classic dies eventually, it shouldn't be a difficult competition. However, I think 55 to 65 meters was chosen very intentionally, and we'll see if I can get what I think is going to happen when we take this shot. That is what happens. If you run, and you get their attention, they are gone by the time the bolt gets there. You can't just run to whatever distance you want and take the shot. You actually have to sneak in and not let them know you're there, otherwise, there is no bison standing where they were when you took the shot. Those were a bunch of females, nothing there is going to actually get us anywhere in the comp, but I saw them there and it was a good opportunity to display that. It's not just a run and gun or run and bow type of comp. You actually have to be stealthy in this. And this is where the decision making comes in. A bison at 760 to 830 kilo is pretty decent estimate wise. You don't see a lot that are like right around 800. A lot of times it's either 770 or 840, 850. I'm guessing this one will be not much above the minimum. However, you know that it's not a simple process. It's a slow kind of stalk in, trying to make sure they don't know you're there, and you have to worry about actually getting a decent shot angle. So when it comes to one like this, I think it's worth a try. I was very incorrect about the state of the competition, by the way. There are only 5 hours left. The sea is turning broadside out there. And third place was, I think, 788, not 758. So I want to try it just because of the remaining time left. And at least we can maybe have a baseline of what to do from here. But he is, at the moment, only 40 out. We got a little closer than I thought there. And by the way, he absolutely knows we're here, so there's no point trying to rush anything. He's going to do the same thing that we saw before if we just take the shot now. So we kind of now have to sit and wait, and that's what's so tough about it. And I don't think just because he's looking around now means that we can just fire away. We're going to try to give him like 1 or 2 opportunities to walk around and stop, and then we're going to try to take the shot. We should still be at the correct distance, and I think, you know, as he kind of keeps going, he should start to calm down. I don't see him looking around anymore or anything like that. So I say, next time he stops when we can see his vitals, we'll attempt a shot and see just what happens. That hit him. He still fled, but it hit him. Like I said, any animal shot with a bow in the Hunter Classic will die eventually, but if that's a body shot, which I think it's gonna be, we're looking at like an hour wound time. That's not so bad if we can come back and get the trail later. It is a problem though if the tracks disappear, so let's see, did we luck into intestines? We did not. So there's no point tracking that right now. We're just gonna keep on spooking him, and I'm not even sure if you're allowed in this competition to shoot them twice. So what we will do is leave a little X here, and we'll come back in a bit. As we're kind of still waiting though, I want to continue to practice this, just to try to figure out the optimal strategy, and maybe one like this when we can get out in front of the bison is to sort of let them walk into range. Now, I couldn't see if that hit exactly where we wanted, but it looked like kind of right around the shoulder, if not behind it. He's not dropping just yet, but I wonder if that could have been a lung. It is, or it was something that brought him down pretty quick. So at the very least, that's going to get us on the board, and that's maybe an idea, but you can see the tent there behind me. The reason that we got into such a good position is we fast traveled, and those bison just so happened to be walking right towards us, but there's 2 really important things there. Number 1, we rather intuitively were able to make that shot and get the lead correct. So should the situation come up where we have to take a walking shot, I feel like we can make it. And in most circumstances, feeling like we have to take a walking shot wouldn't really be a thing, but when there's a 10-meter window from 55 to 65 that we have to take the shot in, I think sometimes taking the shot on the walk would be necessary. 57 meters there, we had to take the shot then. 688 kg though, probably, I'm thinking last is 7th. There weren't many participants when I looked at the leaderboard last. Well, that would be about right. We're looking for the lightest snowshoe hare, and we have a max weight estimate one. Actually pretty low on the score estimate, only up to, I think that said 1690. Probably going to score pretty close to that though. I mean, if it's the minimum for the weight estimate, it's going to score 1500, so this will be nowhere near the top in the competition, but 1633 is an okay sized rabbit. This might be a dumb idea, but it's getting to the point that we just have to go and track another bison. I wouldn't be shocked if his tracks are already gone, so rather than trying to let this one calm down when he only does max at 800 kilos, I'm gonna see if we can get him to run into the bolt. Not really sure if that's a thing, but... Ooh. Did that work? I think it might have. Actually hit him in the intestines. So I don't assume this is gonna be one we'll actually go and try to recover, but that's actually kind of good to know that you can do that. Now, that's a male for sure. Up to 830, that's the same as the one that we shot earlier. Now it's a little more interesting. Did we hit the liver? Because he's bedded. we might have actually just made a kill shot on a bison where we intentionally let it so that it would run into the bolt. That would be absurd. And again, like, we're pressed for time here. Once those tracks are disappeared, it gets infinitely more difficult to actually go and find them. I kind of want to try to get on this one. And frankly, while the shot is far riskier, and I would never do this if we get one up to 910, because that is essentially a guarantee to weigh upwards of 840. We don't have to sneak in or worry about the bison seeing us. Like, we want them to see us. We want them to actually flee into the bolt. So that's him there. Gotta get about 20 meters closer. We gotta lead him by, like, a lot. If we hit the liver last time, it needs to be a bigger lead. He also needs to probably be standing still so we can guess that. Oh, that looked perfect. If that is a lung shot, this has to be the stupidest strategy I've ever devised for a competition, but it might work. Actually, this time, it was a body hit. I wonder, there's a decent chance that we won't see him again unless we just end up shooting him with a gun or something, which we may do. I want to go and check on the one that we had liver shot, or I'm assuming we liver shot it. It appears to actually have gone down, so evidently that can work, but it still comes with a risk, because even though I thought we made a better shot the second time, it ends up being a body hit, and it's so tough to tell. Like, hitboxes on the move to begin with are not always perfect, and shooting through the brush and trying to time how quickly they're going to take off, again, maybe not the most repeatable strategy, but we'll see here just exactly what it ends up being as far as the weight. 762. I think 788 was third, so a ways to go. Stomach liver though, I mean, that wasn't half bad, all things considered. 60.5 meters. That's apparently kind of the range to go for if we're going to try that. Probably going to be our last opportunity to see it actually while he's standing. Still, to me, it looks okay, but let's go ahead. Hit him with the 300. And even though I kind of think that's going to be a lung, we may just hit him again for good measure, but he is betting or tipping over, can't tell. We'll go into trophy shot mode and just look. If this one weighs like 790, it's going to be really unfortunate because, again, we could just let it expire and let it take an hour, but we've already got one of those that we're doing that with. And naturally, he fell on the side that we shot him, but we can kind of see it there. It is in front of the shoulder, so let him by a little bit too much. 799 kg would have been third place. That would just about figure. I mean, we were within, what, a foot? Not even? Like, it's in the shoulder there. It is too far forward, like the angle that it went in is right in front of the lungs, but inches from getting a third place bison with the most hilarious shot we've ever taken in this game. That all said, we might still have a chance. Given the fact that it's the same estimate, maybe the other one's going to be right around that 800 kilo region as well. Now, finding it's going to be an entirely different thing, because it's been a while. Like, it's been over an hour since we took that shot. I can't say for certain that his tracks are still going to be there, but we'll make a beeline over and see. I cannot believe it. The tracks were gone, but there lays our bison. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he's above whatever it was, 788 kilos or whatever's required to get into top 3. If it's not, A, that's going to be really unfortunate because we shot one with the crossbow at the right range, I think. I'm kind of remembering now that it might have said it was 68 meters. I don't know where I got that idea, but regardless, the other side of it is, we're beyond the 2-hour mark. We haven't killed that many things, and there haven't been that many bison that even give us a shot, so really hoping this guy's going to be the one. It would be incredible if it is. And like I said, same basic estimates as the one that was there, so let's see. 814 kilos. Are you kidding me? Hit him in the hip bone. 50-minute wound time. I think we actually just got a comp trophy, but wait. I didn't look at the distance, it was 54, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was 54. 55 to 65 is the requirement. That hurts. That really hurts. I honestly don't know if we're gonna get another opportunity at a decent bison or not, but we do have an opportunity at a pretty nice ticket here. He's got a sticker there off his right antler, and it might be enough to really hurt his score, but I'm pretty sure he's a bit beyond the old render of 220. Bullet dropped right into the lungs, and I can't believe that we were that close, because we don't do many white rhyme competitions to begin with, but particularly this one, and that was actually the first shot that impacted, but then after that we sort of figured out a way on one that would have even still been enough. It's been a crazy hunt, no matter what. I'm actually really happy we went and did this, and if there is one classic competition that I think I would like to maybe try again, it's probably that one. But as for the Sitka deer, it actually looked like a pretty good one. The sticker again is going to hurt it. In fact, I think he's got 2. Oh, that's a major drop time. That's a little more than a sticker. Probably gonna cut his score by close to 8. Wow. And he's still a 106. Just par for the course, the way that everything has gone. The 198 moose to start with, the bison being so close but so far. I'm gonna bet when we go and look at the gross score of this guy, it's probably 111, 112. I don't love that the eyes for some reason look like glass eyes, but I guess we'll go with that. I do like that we're able to hold the time that way. And of course, tabbing out to go and check something like the gross score sometimes does weird stuff to trophy shots, so I've not done that yet. And now I wish I wouldn't have. His gross score was already over 112. His abnormals, which is the big drop time in the sticker, was 5.3. 112.2 was the regular frame with no abnormal points. That's insane. That would have been our second biggest Sitka ever. This far into a hunt, 2 hours and 45 minutes in, animals could be almost anywhere, and I want to give one final spot a try. I've seen bison up in this general vicinity, but typically it will produce at least something, whether it's dull sheep, whether it's Sitka deer, and looks like here, it may only be a Sitka deer doe, but I figured last ditch effort, at least try something, and maybe as we call this in, something else will show up. Well, something else indeed did show up, and while it's not an impressive dull sheep, I think it is better than a Sitka deer doe, so let's try to place our shot somewhat below the skull there, and I think that's going to be our last kill. And as much as I want to be extremely disappointed that we didn't just get a bison competition trophy, I really can't be. That was, outside of the initial, like, just trying to stock up to one, that was an absolute blast. I think next time, whenever this competition comes around and we get an opportunity to record on that day, because I think it's still on like a weekly schedule, so it'll have to be a Thursday or Friday. I think we're really going to try to place in the comp by taking those shots leading the bison and trying to get them to run into the bolt. That's one of my favorite things to do in this game suddenly. It's really cool to get that lead right and see your bolt strike where you think it's going to. And it does seem repeatable, almost more so than stocking into the right range. So unless one of those dull sheep running off happens to be a monster, and we will take a quick look, pretty average size I would say, that is going to do it for this video. So looking forward to getting to do this again sometime in the future, but for now, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.